Yeah, I think we're good. Let's roll.
Awesome. How do you pronounce your name again?
My name's Fernanda. F-E Fernanda.
I have to spell it.
F-E-R-N-A-N-D-A.
Fernanda.
Yeah.
Fernanda. Is the A at the end? No, well, not O. It wouldn't work. Yeah, Fernanda.
What's up, Brian? All right, man.
Hold on, I got it.
Thanks for doing this.
Alex, much pleasure, sir.
So this is the first video. We're here in New York City, and you can see the Brooklyn Bridge in the back.
Brooklyn and Manhattan Bridge. Beautiful river.
Yeah.
Smells glorious.
So thanks for doing this.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
A couple things about your business that you're starting, and how you post updates about it online to keep people interested in it, and just how that's been working. So we met at the Tiny House conference,
North Carolina,
and you know that I'm building a cabin in Tennessee, and I found out that you want to also use this kind of real estate vehicle to downsize, to have people save money on their expenses, so that they can really focus on what's more important to them, instead of just working for a big house and having these crazy expenses that just keep you locked in.
Absolutely.
A certain lifestyle. Right?
Yeah, the golden handcuffs.
Yeah.
So one of the major takeaways that I had from that North Carolina conference was living life by design, actually putting a phrase to it, which I, growing up in the business world, always thought of it as lower your overhead so you can focus on the things that matter. And when you take that into a personal perspective, live life by design. If you care about traveling, why do you want to spend the $4,000 a month on the house that you're never in? So it's just what makes you happy, right? Which is what you're all about. So we're working toward the same goals.
I like the idea of lifestyle by design. And I think that just having something like that to work on gives you so much more freedom that you don't have otherwise. So what are you doing with Tiny Burbs now? What is the long-term plan you told me for that? Are you looking to get into one yourself? And how can you do that in New York, where everything is regulated like crazy, or are you going to look some other places?
So to answer those three questions, I'm going to start with the New York City. Yeah. It's not going to happen in New York City. So at least my business model and what we're targeting, just being realistic, I don't foresee tiny homes in New York City. I mean, I foresee apartment buildings with a Tokyo-style 200 square foot, and you could fold out your table and chairs and things like that. But I do not see what we both want to construct, which is a Tao or a tiny house on wheels, which is more of a residential detached structure. I don't see that happening in New York City at all. The value of real estate here, whoever would want something like that, unless we're building tiny houses and underground parking garages, of which people are paying more to park their cars there anyway than people would pay to live in a tiny house. So as far as what we're doing right now, so we originally were focusing on New Jersey. That was our target area because the mission of Tiny Burbs is to be commutable to New York City. So as a part of an alternative style of housing, we want to offer people a more affordable, creative means of still being able to work and play in Manhattan or New York City, while not necessarily having to have that golden handcuff style way of living, or sharing a flop house like we were just joking about earlier with 4 random roommates. Someone sleeping on the couch, someone sleeping in the living room, in the kitchen, that style of living to make it affordable. So Tiny Burbs, originally starting out in New Jersey, was working for me geographically. What we started to realize, obviously, as you get deeper, I do commercial contracting as well in another business. The zoning and building codes in New Jersey, I thought I had a couple mulligans or ways of getting around them that I found out I could not. So we're now shifting gears and pivoting geographically in the local area, and we're going to focus more on Southern Connecticut as far as getting an actual residential community constructed. And we were just talking about a little bit further south as well for another geographic location.
Right. Yeah, I'm building the cabin in Tennessee.
Yes.
And I find that the building codes there and everything makes it so much easier, and the area is really beautiful.
Yeah.
So remote work is going to make this a whole lot easier.
Absolutely.
Obviously. If people don't have to commute to a big city and big offices, I think that'll push that kind of lifestyle more. And then, I also think that just having it a lot cheaper. I mean, really affordable. If you buy the land and build it yourself, you can have one of these tiny houses for 25 grand.
Yeah.
And it's yours. And you can Airbnb it out and have it make money for you. So to me, these are absolute no-brainers, and I think what you're doing is going to be a total winner. And then the other thing that I like is that you post these, I think you do weekly, right?
Weekly, every Monday.
So he posts these weekly updates on Facebook, and it's really honest with his steps and where he is and the mistakes that he's making. Just sharing that kind of puts the pressure on from the outside to A, keep posting the videos every week because you said you would do it, and then B, show progress, right? And that's, I've noticed, has pushed me as well, because people ask me, hey man, how's your cabin going, right?
Yep.
And it's like, I haven't seen a video, you haven't done anything lately. Like, what are you doing, just digging holes and it's not going anywhere, right? So it pushes you to go public, to put yourself out there, embarrass yourself, show your failures, but then you actually, in the end, achieve a whole lot more. Has that been your experience too? With the
Yeah, 100%. So for me, there was two main drivers that started me with releasing weekly content. The first, we were talking about this earlier, is absolutely accountability. So I focus on living my life by saying, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So now every single week, it's that push of, all right, what have we actually achieved? How are we measuring where we thought we would be, where we laid out this timeline to be at said date? So that's part one. And part two that really drove me to do that is I'm a huge fan of Gary Vee. Yeah. So you love your Tim Ferriss. Yeah, I know you love Gary Vee as well.
Yeah.
So he says that you have to document things, right? And I really believed in that. So aside from the fact that I'm documenting what the literal beginnings. So 2 years out, when we're starting to create the engineering and we do have zoning approval, you could see that 2 years previous, we were getting rejected by every building department in this county, that we had this issue along the way. Nowadays, it seems like everyone wants to be in business for themselves. No one wants to work a traditional job, so to speak, anymore. And people think that you could just, being an entrepreneur means you're gonna make money, you could have your own schedule, you don't have people to report to, you don't have a boss. When you're in business, I'll tell you what, when I had my contracting company, I had more bosses then than I do now in my current 9-to-5, so to speak. So from tying that all together, the weekly videos were just my way of presenting to the world, this is what we're doing. We have a mission, here's what we believe in, because 2-3 years from now, when these homes are for sale, we're marketing them and we're going to be saying we have certificate of occupancy, I want the certain type of people to live in these communities.
Yeah.
I want people that want to live there to figure out about this now and be chomping at the bit for when this community is actually full time. Yeah,
the sharing the road, I think, is a very useful thing for marketing, for your own motivation as well. And I don't know, have you read Gretchen Rubin's book on the, I think it's, I forget the name of it, but it talks about the 4 personality types, and their tendencies to meeting their own goals. And there's not that many people that meet their own internal goals.
Yep.
But if they present their internal goals to a group, they're much more likely to actually accomplish it. So just by speaking it that, hey, I'm going to be doing this, you're already more likely to actually accomplish it.
Yeah. Well, so, from that perspective as well, when you're proving to the world by basically how you're perceiving yourself, what personality type you are, and I'm a little bit more of the dreamer, for sure. I have huge, monstrous goals, and then the accountability part is what keeps me chasing these monster goals. So now, as we get through the process, so actually a video I have planned for the next 3 weeks out is going to be identifying a team. We're not there yet, and I don't need it yet, but what I do need to start doing is drumming up the interest of people. So I'm gonna need some legal help, just saying. But you know, when you talk about people's archetypes and what type of person you are, you really need to find those people that complement you.
Yeah, so important.
Yeah. So if you have a team of you times 4, that's a sinking ship. That's just the truth.
Very true. I think that's very true, that you need to get people on board that are part of your mission and that complement your skill set well, because we all have like setbacks that could, personality-wise, that could really harm us, and other people can fill in those spots. And yeah, I guess if I could segue, and I'm a bit all over the place, and my writing is like that, and my videos are going to be like that as well, is that I bounce around.
This is the raw stuff.
But the other thing that I wanted to talk about with you is how the lessons that you've learned in business have applied to health and fitness. So I know that's something that you had a really cool journey with as well, right? So
for sure. I mean, that's why we instantly bonded and our energy levels overlapped each other so well, is because through your pursuit of happiness, I feel like we all have those moments in our lives, the aha moment of I need to make a major change. And the more of those you have, hopefully not all of them through hardship, you know, you could figure out to just, I have to constantly keep elevating myself. For me, I need a tangible result to really be able to soak in the happiness. So through business, I created my first business at 19 years old, and I had about $45,000 of credit card debt by 20. But after failing that business, after about 3 years, I realized that retail, you know, maybe wasn't the best guy at retail, and then I became partnered in a landscaping style company for a little while, and then my third business was a consulting firm in general contracting. And that was a sustainable business that carried myself, my team. It was you know, we had 6 employees, and we had a nice small little mom and pop shop. That took me all the way through my 20s, and to really taste a high level of success in the New York market area, metropolitan area, it was really humbling to fail. So in my mid-20s, I joke that I'm going to write a book about it. No one really cares, but it's just really fun and exciting because it was a wild ride. To go from that,
we got to move over a little bit.
To go from that to, people don't publicly know this, to sleeping on your parents' couch.
Oh, I did then. I did a little bit later on. I think I had my failure later on. It's good to have it early.
Yeah, well, early for me was 28, 27 to 28. Yeah, it was humbling, if anything. So you think, oh, I have this, I got it down, right? We joked about earlier in the talk, everyone wants to be their own boss, right? I don't know if you want to let go 6 people that you really care about, that you want to close up an office that you constructed, that you want to have your car repossessed, that you have to foreclose on your home, that you have to literally sell everything that you thought was the embodiment of your success, quote unquote, the stuff, the material things. When you have to get rid of all of that and sleep on a couch, it'll show you real quick what the important things are in life for you.
That's good, and I think that's where the lessons come in, right? Like, if that had never happened to you, do you think you would have grown like you did?
Not at all. Right? Not at all. I mean, not even close. I joke now, I'm very much, through this experience, well, when you sleep on your parents' couch, you get to get a little bit more intimate with your family. I moved out at 19, and I was in the business world, and I didn't see them because I didn't have time for that, because I'm working and I'm running a business, so I don't have time to go to this or that or spend time with my family. My whole world flipped, and I really realized that I was a horrible person. I mean, straight up, just did not like anything about the person that I became.
Too much focus on success and achievement?
Yeah, 100%. And just you're attempting to be this person that you think is successful, or you want to be someone like you want to be The Rock, but except for all the wrong reasons. And that's what I was chasing. So when you talk about health and fitness, which was the original part of the question, I gained 65 pounds in that process. So when I closed my last business and I went to work for my competition too, which is another humbling part of the pie, another slice of humble pie. When I went to work for my competition, I was working 70 hours a week. We were in a conference room that we called our war room. They shoveled us in this disgusting, I shouldn't say disgusting, this great tasting food that was horrible for us. My physical activity was walking up one flight of steps to get to said war room, and that was pretty much it. And my whole life I was an athlete. So to have that realization of you just lost everything. At the time I broke up with my girlfriend who was living with me, so lost that relationship, lost the house, lost everything. Sleeping on a couch, working 70 hours a week, gained 65 pounds. Who are you? Didn't even realize the person that I was, and that started the journey to realize I need to start building on getting back to who I really want to be, which is a happy, different kind of successful person now.
Yeah, we just earlier before we started here, we're saying that the key is to have the balance between appreciation and achievement. I think if you have too much of either, I mean, just appreciation is probably better. Right? I mean, if you can do that without any
if you could do that,
that's awesome, right? But I think you need a healthy measure of both, and it can be hard to forget to appreciate the things we have and to be grateful when we're chasing these big dreams and we're trying to achieve that next milestone, get somewhere here and build that and have this in our bank account and have these things. If we can combine that with being thankful for what we have while still chasing that, I think that's the way to go. And I think you do that quite well. And connecting the fitness to the business success part, I think that there's also a key mental shift that happens in people where they just say, look, this might be short-term good for me. I'm going to really enjoy this, but I know that long-term it's bad for me. And that's where a lot of the people that I know you listen to, I listen to Jocko and Gary Vee and Tim Ferriss too. They talk about choosing discomfort and being comfortable with discomfort. And that is something that will really set you free, because you'll be financially independent if you can deal with discomfort, and you'll be healthy. And if you don't impose it on yourself, life usually has a way of imposing it on you, right?
Life will punch you in the face. And you know what? If you're not taking risks, you're not really setting yourself up to get punched in the face either. If you're okay with that life either.
Okay
so
with getting punched in the face.
I mean, it's as simple as that. You talk to anyone who's achieved anything. If you haven't failed multiple times continually, I'll fail 1,000 more times before they put me in the ground, and that's. Gary Vee is really good at articulating that he loves his losses. When you're a true, I don't care what you want to label what we're talking about. If you want to reference it as an athlete, as an entrepreneur, as a great family, father, brother, son, etc., all those things, if you are not setting yourself up to fail, you're not really putting in the work that you should be anyway. I not just speaking for myself, we always will learn more from failure than we will for hitting that home run every time we get up to the plate. That's just not feasible in life.
I think that's awesome. Good stuff. I think we'll wrap this up, and thanks so much for doing this.
Alex, thank you so much for coming to visit.
See if we got any good footage.
Check it out.
Go from there.
Hold on, wait.
Outro.
It was so
Okay.
It came out, I mean, yeah.
It came out, you mean, yeah?